Hello Leo, welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of April 23rd through 29th. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I'm providing. Right? Remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we have the Death card, the 13th mystery of the tarot. Let's put that into some context. I know that sometimes can appear to be a very sinister card, but it doesn't always mean anything negative, right? A lot of the times that's going to be one of the most positive cards in any tarot reading, all right? So let's do our Dove and Serpent spread. I can already see we've got a lot of good cards here to accompany that Death card. As I put these cards out, I want to say that if there's anything you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments. All right, we're going to finish up with our final few cards. Wow, this is really, really exciting. We have a lot of very positive cards here. We're going to do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, and we're just going to leave that right over here. We're not going to look at it until the end of the reading, so you should stick around until the end. I would recommend it. Okay, so major. We've got earth, we've got air, we've got fire. We've got earth, we've got water, fire. So really a lot of balance here, right? And here's that devil card. Now the death card. The death card, almost even more spooky and sinister than the devil card, right? So here we have the death card. And the death card, yes, it means transformation. It means spiritual growth. It means that you are evolving, right? But I think you're the type of person that is not afraid to really start things over, right? You're not afraid to know when something has gone its course, when something has kind of overstayed its welcome, right? You really are someone who, in your life, you've probably kind of started over many times, right? Maybe you've moved somewhere, started fresh. Maybe you changed careers, started from scratch. Maybe you're someone who is really keenly aware of when a relationship or a situation or a state of energy or a belief even has kind of, gone as far as it can go. It's reached the end of its usefulness, of its productivity. And it may be time to really kind of pack up, tear things down, move on to the next city, right? The next phase of your life, the next, move on to the next town and the next show, right? So you're not someone who's afraid of that. I think, like I said, you've probably done this many times before. You're probably someone who, when you see that things are starting to reach their limit, starting to reach the end of their usefulness, or their expiration date is approaching, you don't run away. You don't try to deny it. You don't try to ignore the situation. You don't try to circumvent it in any way. I think that you approach it really head on, right? I think that you confront the situation. You confront it with courage. We see a lot of these major arcana cards, a lot of really strong fire energy to show that you are a very courageous person, right? Especially when there's something that is maybe reaching the end of its usefulness, okay? Now, in the recent past, we do see this Lover's card. So it seems to me that there's some kind of it feels to me like we're approaching this kind of expiration date on something again, okay? Now, I'm not trying to say that your relationship, if you're in one, is coming to a close. What I think is going on here with this Lover's card is I think that we're entering into this new phase of our life. We're in this transitional period, right? We're going from, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going from winter, we're in spring. It's the transitional season from winter to summer, and the opposite if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, okay? We're in the fall season where we're transitioning from summer then to winter. So it's the transitional period of the year, okay? And I think that this is really taking us from a rather established situation, okay, maybe a relationship, maybe a dynamic within the relationship. It could be romantic, it could be something with your family, it could be coworkers or friends even. But with the Lover's card here, I feel as if there is a close relationship in your life that is reaching the end of a particular phase, okay? It could be that you're reaching the end of this kind of being single phase even, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're in a relationship and it's approaching a transitional period. You could be transitioning from a period of solitude to a period of, okay, I'm going to get back out there and, you know, the weather's changing now. A lot of festivals are coming up. A lot of holidays are coming up. There's a lot of reasons to kind of get out and enjoy this in-between weather, right? So I think the opportunity is really there for you to transition into the next phase of your life. And I think it has to do with this social interaction. We see a lot of this good earth energy, but I don't think this is talking about business. I don't think this is talking about finances or career. What I see crossing your path is this Hierophant, and this is some very good earth energy. I think that you are really looking to get out and get some new experiences, right? It's almost as if we've spent a lot of time either during the winter or during the summer, and now we're in the transitional period, right? The weather's changing. I feel like we've spent a lot of time in this rather isolated energy, okay? I feel like we've spent a lot of time in solitude, and now we're transitioning to this energy where I'm feeling like we want to experience life, right? We want to learn through experience now, you know, before we get into the really hot days of summer or into the really frozen days of winter. In this transitional period, we want to get out, we want to enjoy the time that we have where it's kind of like that twilight time. It's that time of year where our unconscious is really open. The spirit world is really open to us. The veil between worlds is rather thin right now during these transitional seasons. So I feel like you're really trying to get out and experience life, try new things. You're trying to do things that are going to benefit your soul, that are going to benefit you by maybe meeting new people, different kinds of people, going on different kinds of adventures. You know, going down paths that you had never gone down before, right? So you're kind of setting out on this new journey, and I think that's what we've got here with this Death card. I don't think it's so much the ending of something that has reached its expiration date. I think this is more about what you're trying to build in the future, what you're trying to grow, and what you're trying to build for your future. You know, so I think we are transitioning out of this period of, I think, solitude. I think a little bit of isolation. You know, I think maybe not literal isolation, but this maybe transitioning from the inner side of the work, right? The inner work, and now the outer work is approaching. So I think we're trying to now learn through experience rather than learn through contemplation and meditation and that sort of thing. So I think we're in this in-between state, like I keep saying. What we have beneath the surface is this Six of Swords. Now with the Six of Swords, I feel like you're somebody who is very thoughtful. Not thoughtful as in you're very kind, but thoughtful as in everything is very much planned, you know. I think this is probably part of your natural yearly cycle. During these transitional periods, that's when you try to go out, you try to push yourself to new situations, right? Go to new activities, do events, festivals, meet new people, try different things that you haven't tried before in cycles past. That's why I say that you're someone who doesn't shy away from reaching the end of a cycle or an end of a type of energy, and you know when you have to transition into the next one. You know when it's time to kind of start over in this new thing. It's almost like you're completely switching out your wardrobe. It's like you really do one day on probably a certain day of the year. You take all of your winter clothes, you put them away, you bring out the summer stuff, right? And I feel like it's very well defined with you. I think that you really have it down to kind of a routine. And I think you're really going to be enjoying this transitional season. We've got the Princess of Discs up here. You're really trying to do new things. You're trying to start new relationships, start new projects, new types of work, new types of creative interests. You really are open to so many possibilities, and the Princess of Discs is like literally pregnant with possibilities. Okay, there's just so much that can be produced by this, that I really think it takes a lot of this Six of Swords energy, a lot of this planning, in order for you to focus this energy a little bit. Okay, and in the immediate future, Nine of Wands. So you're narrowing down your interests and this really fiery ambition. I feel like you're starting to get kind of jazzed up about this season, right? About this new shift into these different kind of activities. And you really have to listen, and you really have to utilize all that inner work that you did, right? During the previous, let's say the previous 3 months of time. You have to use all of that knowledge and insight and all of that like spiritual experience that you gained in order to direct your life now in this new season. It has to be something that comes from within you. Otherwise, it's kind of this idea that you're just going to be tossed about by the energy. It's going to lack any kind of direction. You're going to be pulled from one thing to the other, and it's not going to have this organization. So not only do we need the planning, but we need the will, we need the spirit, we need the unconscious kind of informing our decision-making process, inspiring these plans, So I think that you're really like I almost feel like this should be a reading for the next 3 months or so, or whatever, 2.5 months. Because I feel like it's kind of this week, or maybe this has already started to take place, this shift. I wonder if you've already, moved out your winter clothes and brought in the summer stuff. You know what I mean? Now that's a metaphor, but it could actually be something that you literally have a date scheduled where you do that, The Ten of Pentacles here in your general energy, you have a wealth of not only physical abundance, but this mental and emotional well-being that you've been really working on. I think that's part of the previous 3 months of time for you. Like let's say during the winter season. I think you've really focused on your health. You've really focused on your mental well-being. You focused on your intellect. I bet you read a lot of books over the winter. And it's like you really fortified your inner nature, right? Your personality, your psyche, your soul feels very fortified right now. And I think that this is a real abundance in the true sense of the word, that you're going to be taking now out into the world. You've done all the work, you've consolidated your forces, and now you're taking all of this wealth, all of this abundance that you've built into yourself, and you're going to go out on this adventure. I'm almost wondering why we don't see the Fool card here. The next thing that we see is this Princess of Cups. I think that there is this somewhat unconscious desire for you to make these emotional connections with people, okay? With this Lover's energy here, I really do feel like maybe over the winter you got out of a relationship, right? And now that we're getting into spring, or again, opposite if you're in the southern hemisphere. But now we're in this transitional season, and I think you're starting to feel a little bit of a pull of these emotions, where you're looking to make this emotional connection. Now, I don't know if you're looking for your soulmate, if you're looking for the one, but you're looking to make an emotional connection with someone, okay? And now this doesn't have to, again, it doesn't have to be romantic or sexual. It could be in a platonic way as well, but there are these new feelings that you want to express. You want to make that connection, okay? And I think this is kind of the draw of this season for you. Again, there's a lot of social events, a lot of festivals, holidays, just a lot of like parties and a lot of things to do in the external world, right? A lot of reasons to get dressed up and leave the house. You know, go do something fun. And I think a large part of that is this drive, this striving to really make these emotional connections, these meaningful personal connections. Again, they don't have to be romantic. But I feel like there is part of this, at least, that wants to be romantic, because I feel like there was a relationship that ended maybe with a Gemini. I'm getting a Gemini feeling. Maybe there was a relationship that ended with a Gemini in the last, 3 months or so. But we have a concern. We have a little bit of a worry here with the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is wondering what we're going to do if we get so caught up in these new emotions that we lose all sense of direction. We lose all of our kind of good sense, our thoughtfulness with the Six of Swords. We lose some of that Nine of Wands, right, with that resolve, that kind of the direction and the commitment, the inspiration from our will, from our true self that is leading us in a certain direction. What if we get so overwhelmed by this water energy that we really can't find our way back to shore? Okay. And that, I think, is the risk. Whenever we leave the house, we're putting ourselves kind of at the mercy of the elements, right? I mean, anytime you walk out of your house, there's a risk out there, right? Or, I mean, we're in the wild, right? So I feel like this is not holding you back, but this is something that you use to keep yourself in check, that says, okay, I'm looking for these interpersonal relationships, these deeper connections. I'm not going to let myself get just starstruck by them, or to really get carried away by this enthusiasm or by this water energy. Okay, so you're going to fall back on, again, the Nine of Wands, the Six of Swords, and even on this Ten of Pentacles. All of this work that you've done to really fortify yourself and strengthen yourself so that you can go out into the elements and not get just whisked away in 2 seconds by all of the excitement, right? So this is something I think that you keep in the back of your mind, because you want to get out there and enjoy yourself, but you have to make sure that you keep your wits about you, right? Now, the final card on the path of the Serpent is this Princess of Wands. This really is, you really kind of not getting carried away in the same sense as the Ten of Cups here. But this is you really, in some ways, throwing caution to the wind. This is you not being too self-conscious. This is you really just putting yourself out there, being you, being natural, being spontaneous. You have a foundation of thoughtfulness and good sense and commitment and inner fortification, right? You have that as a foundation, but in the moment, you're just being you, right? You're not being self-conscious, you're not hesitating, you're not limiting yourself by negative thinking, by self-doubt, by second-guessing, This is just you out there kind of dancing with danger in some sense, because, I mean, there's that wild tiger there. So it is just kind of, it is just being brave in the sense that you are fully you, and you are just fully out there on the dance floor, just like letting loose, just going wild, right? You don't care who's watching. You know what I mean? And I think that's a good thing, because you've done the inner work to build this foundation of stability for yourself so that you can, in some sense, trust yourself to go out there and have a good time and not get into anything, dangerous or harmful. So like I said at the beginning, we have a lot of really good energy here, and this almost feels like it should be a reading for the next 3 months, But I think we're talking about just the beginning of this new phase, the beginning of this new cycle for you, again, where the kind of, the winter work, again, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, the winter work is now done. It's over. It's reached its kind of end point, its expiration. And now we're transitioning into this kind of more extroverted style, I guess we could say. Let's go to this mystery card now and see what this is. I think this is going to be more fire energy, honestly, because I'm really getting this sense of warmth and heat, and just like, it almost feels like it's a summer day in here, And I'm just getting these images of like a beach and water and the sand and just, just the heat of the sun just bearing down on everybody. And everybody is just really, really into it and really having a good time, okay? Now, this week's not just all about partying, I think this is about you really making that transition from the more introverted, isolated kind of, inner work to the outer work, to the external activities that are going to put a lot of what you learned in this period into practice, right? You're taking everything that you've gained, all of this inner fortification, and now you're putting yourself to the test, like out there in the social scene, in the outer world, right? I think this is going to be a 3 of Wands, because no matter what situations you get yourself into, no matter how carefree you are, no matter how much you're out there just, again, tearing it up on the dance floor, letting loose, going wild, you can trust yourself that you have these inviolable principles, your own self-direction, your own commitment to your spiritual path, that it doesn't matter how far out you get, you always know what's within. You always have that connection to home, to what you're coming back to, right? So I think 3 of Wands. And there's the 3 of Wands. This is, the key word for this card is virtue, So I think that regardless of what the outer transformation may look like, regardless of what masks you wear, what activities you get involved with, the people you get involved with, no matter what happens or what changes or transformations seem to take place in the external, you always know who you are. You always have that connection with spirit that cannot be broken, because you've done the inner work. You've made connections, I think, with spirit, with your higher self, God, goddess, deity, your guardian angel, your spirit guides. You have that connection. So it doesn't matter how far out you extend yourself, you always know what you're coming back to. And you always have that firm connection to yourself, to spirit. And that connection can't be severed, right? So I think this is a very interesting period for you. I'm feeling a lot of, wild energy with you. And I think that's really something exciting. That's really something that you should just take advantage of, especially in these kinds of transitional seasons of the year, I think are perfect for this kind of energy. And I really think it's just like the twilight, the twilight times of the day have that strange energy and it's almost like a full moon energy kind of, everybody starts to feel this electricity. And I think it really is more than electricity. This is like a real heat coming off of you, a really kind of fiery spiritual energy that I think is following you, or you're following it into the next few months. Now, I know this is supposed to be a weekly reading, but again, it feels like this is kind of the theme for the next, at least the next month or two, you know. We're going to go ahead and do an extended. I hope you'll leave me some comments and let me know if this is resonating with you. I know this was kind of a strange one. This is, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of energy in this reading for you. Anyway, we're going to do the extended. Click on the link that's right up here, and you can have access to all of the extended readings. This was your weekly reading, April 23rd through 29th on Dove and Serpent Tarot.